Hey, Amplify You family. I'm here today with Danielle Amos. I'm so excited. I got to meet Danielle a few weeks ago at a an event in Vancouver for Make Your Mark, and it was really great to meet her. We only briefly got to chat, but since then we've been able to connect online. The love of the internet, I swear. This woman is amazing. She's a goldmine full of information, all about like mindset and changing your mindset. She is a top leader with Bob Proctor's Inner Circle, one of the top coaches in the world. And so, Danielle, welcome from all the way across Canada in Ontario. Thank you for being with us today on Amplify You.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right in, Danielle. I'd love to let's know your story. Like, how did you get started? I know you've got a podcast coming out soon too, which is very exciting. So how did you get started? Really figuring out that mindset is a big part of success in business.
Well, interesting. That's how I got started was through failure. I was in a corporate job and I was doing well in that, but it wasn't what I loved to do. And so I wanted to make that transition to become an entrepreneur. And I did. I jumped right in, but fell flat on my face. And through that journey, I was really hard on myself. I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not succeeding when I succeeded over here? And I was introduced to the idea that perhaps it's our mind that's holding us back. And after learning about how the mind works, I jumped into a program and some work with Bob Proctor directly, and I ended up tripling my income in 6 months. And from there, I decided that, you know what, there's so many people, entrepreneurs, you'll find them in the podcast world who get started on something and then they stop and they don't really know why and they get frustrated. And that was me. And I just wanted to help people through that hurdle. And here I am now as a coach doing just that.
I love it. Yeah, I started calling myself the starter because I'd have all these ideas and I'd start things and then like not finish them. So what have you learned? Like, what's the problem there?
Yeah, great question. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. So this is normal. So many people experience it. And really what's happening is what we want to do or our idea, it's outside of how we currently think ourselves to be. So what I mean by that is this idea that you have is your idea and it's meant for you, and you absolutely have to go for it because you have the idea. But because it's something that you haven't done before, we have something in our mind, our subconscious mind, it's called our self-image. And our self-image that we have currently isn't a match for the person that we're becoming as we jump into that new role. So we get stopped. That self-image, or we call it your paradigm, your mindset, it stops you from taking that action because its job is to keep you safe. And taking that jump is really scary.
Wow, that's really explained super well. I love that. I'm reading James Clear's book right now called Atomic Habits. That like 1% of incremental change every day is like so amazing. Like, and that's one of his big things too, is that you actually have to change like the person that you're going to become in your mind before, like, what is this habit that you're changing? What is this going to look like in the new person and as the new person? And I didn't really put those two together until just as you were speaking. I'm like, yeah, that's why. That's
That's
why we're doing
absolutely,
that.
yeah, that's it. And you have to be able to see it in your mind. You have to see you in your mind first before you become that person. So I get people to think about, how are you showing up? What's your posture like? What are you wearing? What are some like physical attributes? But then how are you feeling in that role? How do you meet and greet another person? What's the impact you're making? And as you think of that, it's almost like you're stepping into this version of you, like you're putting on a new pair of pants, and they might be a little shiny or something that you're not really used to. So you're not comfortable in those clothes in the beginning. But the more that you go out there and act like that person, be that person today, including all those habits, it just comes together. And then everything you want gets attracted to you in that space as well.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I love it. And we can relate that back to podcasting too, because I know there's this block when people start, I really want to have a podcast, but we have, some people that get started in a program with us, and then there's just something that prolongs that like actual, like, pulling the trigger and getting started in podcasting, like recording your first couple of intros and your first couple of episodes. And it's just this, this block. And we kind of figured out it was kind of something to do around fear. But actually, now that you're speaking about the paradigm shift, I really think that is actually really what's going on there. It's not necessarily a fear of, failure or a fear of success. It's just that they don't see themselves in that role yet. And it's really interesting. What are some things that we can help, you give some really great tips of like envisioning, like, visualizing ourselves. What about some tips when like that little voice inside your head, like, no, that's not you. No, that can't be you. I know those are going to pop up. So what do we do about those guys?
Yeah, well, it's good to hear that you have that voice too. I'm not alone, right?
Yeah.
So that voice is your subconscious mind. It's your paradigm. And I see it as a con artist. It's there to stop you every single time. And it's not your truth. Your truth is your desire, that inner being that wants to come out. And so when you have that little voice go off, I say, you know what, that's interesting. You're not going to win today. And then I ask myself, I'm like, what do you want? If I could have anything, be anything, what do I want in this situation? Well, I go back and I want to win. And then I always take pen to paper. I was taught this by my mentor. When you write, it causes thinking in your mind. And when we think in pictures. So the writing will stop the little voice, because you can only have one thought at a time. And if you answer that question, what do I want? Who do I want to be? Or who am I committed to being? It is powerful. And you always want to write it in positive words. So let's say if you don't want to be nervous, you wouldn't write, I don't want to be nervous. You want to write, I am confident. I am ready to show up on this podcast for my listeners. I am committed to sharing my story. And you'd write that out. And in that moment, you might need to write it out for a while. Like sometimes it takes me 2 minutes, but other times, if I really have those butterflies, it may be 15 minutes until I really tune in. And as I write, I'm creating the picture that I want on the screen of my mind, and I'm directing my thoughts and my energy. And if I still feel that I'm a little bit uneasy and that voice is like, yeah, right, you're a fraud, then I would go to gratitude. So gratitude aligns your energy, and I would find what I'm grateful for in myself, and also the opportunity and in my life. And then I'd go back to what I'm committed to. And then from there, you can take the action. It really does become like a battle in the mind. We've got this con artist paradigm, subconscious mind you didn't even give yourself. Your parents gave it to you. It's your programming. And then we've got this desire and what we want and who we want to become. And only one can win. And you'll notice that the paradigm or the programming, that subconscious mind, gives you all the excuses, the reasons. It's the little voice. But we've got to step out of that and decide who you're becoming. And who you're helping in the podcast world. These podcasters, you have such an ability to create impact in the world. So you have a commitment to do that and step out. So it's beyond you and the little voice, isn't it?
Thank you for saying that. I was just going to say, I'm like, and how do we get them to realize it's not about them?
Yeah.
It's not about us. We're the vehicle, but you have this message that you're meant to deliver, and it's going to create that impact in the world that you're meant to be here to deliver. But we got to get out of our own ways to be able to step up and share that message with people. And it's like you said, it's like a battle with your inner self. And it's interesting to watch. So some people just have no problem. They'll just like, yep, this is what I want to do. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, we're on, and off we go. And, others, it takes a lot longer to get into alignment with that message. And thank goodness we have so many amazing clients that are so intuitive and in tune with themselves that they know when it's not the right message. They're not ready yet. And they've got to be in alignment before they can step in. We always say, like, a podcaster has a few, like 14 episodes in them on any topic. But that real topic, that real message that you can deliver, you can talk forever on.
Yeah, you got it. And that message that they have is meant for them. Like only they can give it in the way that they're giving it. Like only
Mhm.
you can say what you need to say. And the people that are meant to resonate with you are, you'll attract them to you. They're in
Mm.
harmony with you. And so that's all by law, by laws of the universe. And so if we can really believe that, there's also knowing this truth, I know this to be true, is that we live in an unlimited universe.
Mhm.
So there are enough listeners for
Mhm.
you, for me, for her, for him, right? And yeah, I think that there's such an amazing opportunity in what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really crushes that, also that theory of no one's going to listen to my show.
Mhm.
What if I have nothing to say? Well, those are some of the things that we feel that people are holding back. Um, yeah, it's interesting. So Danielle, I'd love to hear what your show coming up is going to be all about. I hope it's on
Yeah.
this topic.
Well, thanks for asking. It is. It's absolutely all about the mind, how the mind stops us. But then, when we really understand how the mind works, we as humans were given the mind to create, to manifest.
Mm.
And when we understand how to use it, we become literally unstoppable. We were meant to create our results in the life that we want. So I'll be speaking all about that. I'll be speaking about money and prosperity, but in not only just like the physical money, but the friends, the love, the things, that freedom that we want in our life. Oh, I'm super excited to share that with people. My own journey was, from a place of struggle to now abundance. So
Yeah,
really
I love
along those
that.
lines.
And such a needed message, right? Like, I think so many people need to hear that message and be reminded of it. And I love how you actually have the training and the tools, not to just talk about the theory and like how it could be possible or it is possible, but you've lived it, you've experienced it, and now you're able to share it and give tools on how to create those changes and create that impact in the
Mhm.
world, which is amazing. Who do you hope to inspire on your podcast?
Yeah, I work with mainly women. They're either mothers or they're about to be mothers. They want to have it all. They know that they're meant for more, but they're just not sure how. So they're in a transition, or they're looking to level up. The women that I help are all entrepreneurs or beginning that business. They also believe that at the moment they may not believe that anything's possible for them, but they've seen and witnessed it in other people.
Mm.
They're positive and they're looking for community. They're looking for like-minded women to really help them, and we
I love
provide that. And they're looking for the system. Success is really a system. So
that.
I provide the step by step by step system. Yeah.
Awesome. We're looking forward to tuning into it. I know it's going to be a great one. I'd love to also hear, like, we were talking about this maybe the other day, but I'd love to, bring this into this conversation too. I used to be involved in network marketing, and, I used to see people get on stage and be like, wow, how did they do that? That's so amazing. But they all have the same story. They all have the same
Yeah.
story as like they were like sleeping in their car, or like they were like homeless, or like, everything had like gotten to this point of like craziness. So do we really have to get to that point before we can be
Mm.
successful, or is there a better way?
Yeah. Do you have to hit rock bottom? No. Uh, no, absolutely not. There's two things that drive us. It's either building a very strong desire for what's possible for you and what you want,
Mhm.
or the need, like to avoid pain. And that's
Mhm.
why you see the people in the car, who are living in their car, they have to do something to change their lives.
Right.
That's a strong motivator. But we know desire can also do the same thing.
Mhm.
When you have desire, you must make a committed decision
Mhm.
that you are closing all other doors. And when you make that committed decision, and once you've made it, it's sort of hard to describe how it feels. It's like feeling it, like
Mhm.
that love feeling, what it feels like
Mhm.
to be in love. But when you've made that committed decision, you know that there's no way you're going back.
Mm.
and your desire is so strong, and how you make your desire stronger. So if you're unsure, you want to be repeating your goal. You want to become obsessed in your mind. You want to see it happening over and over in your mind. It becomes all that you talk about, you dream about. And when that desire is so strong, you become committed, where you accept no excuses, no reasons. You do it no matter what. And when a person gets to that point, we know that any obstacle can come their way, and they'll have the persistence to overcome it.
Mm.
And it's something that usually they need the help with, a mentor, or help, because that paradigm, that programming is so strong, and it's so comfortable where you currently are, and all the people around you are in harmony with that, and your friends, your family,
Yeah.
they're in harmony with who you currently are. So it's way easier to stay stuck, to stay where you are, than it is to make that change,
Mhm.
even though we want it so bad. And
Mhm.
my mentor, Bob Proctor, said, he's never seen anyone do it without help, creating a paradigm shift without help. Now, there's
Mhm.
two ways to create that shift. One is through the help of space repetition. So you're looking for repetition and that help of a mentor who doesn't have the paradigm. The other is through an emotional impact.
Mm.
So those people that are living in the car, they went through an emotional impact. They hit
Right.
rock bottom.
Gotcha.
And in the moment, something changes. Yeah, that's a great question.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. And it made me think about, as you're talking about the people around you. It's oftentimes we see in podcasters getting going, and I can relate. This was mine too. Is it was a fear of success, not a
Yeah.
fear of failure. Like success, like if I'm going to become successful, will I still have these relationships in my life? Probably not. And like, or maybe not. I don't. That was one
Yeah.
of those things that it's interesting that you think that it's fear of failure that was more popular, but it was actually the other way around.
Yeah, I can relate to that. And the reality is, the whole purpose of a goal, like the whole purpose of the podcast, is really growth,
Hmm.
self-development, right? Of any goal. And you will grow into this better version, this best version of you. And it's really pulling it out from within. And when you do that, you're right. You'll grow out of sync with a lot of people in your life.
Yeah.
And I think some of those people will rise with you. So in
Right.
my experience, when we're living our true greatness and we step into who we're meant to be, we give others around us permission to do the same. And what happens with people, and I would say definitely the podcasters that you work with, they know they have a message. They know they're meant for more. They know they have an impact. And so if they don't step into their greatness and raise their vibration and become that person, then they, in order to stay around the people that they're around, they're going to have to lower their vibration
Mm-hmm.
to get along with them. And so we're constantly battling, like, raise up here because this is what I want and this feels good for me, but then in order to stay in my family or my friends, I've got to lower. And so it's back and forth, back and forth. But what I help people do is always step into that greatness,
Stay up there.
become that better vibration. And then what we see is people come along with them, and it's
Mhm.
inspiring. It's inspiring. Mhm.
And that's when the right people will come along with you too.
Right. And those that don't, just aren't ready.
They're not
But
ready yet.
yeah, and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
really okay.
Yeah, I love that, Danielle. Thank you. You've given us so many great insights as to some of the things that come up and when we're starting something new like this. And now we kind of have some ideas of why those things are happening. Any advice for people looking to get started on a show, that maybe haven't experienced any of these issues yet? Like how to just keep yourself in that forward motion of momentum.
Absolutely. The first thing I always tell people is gratitude. Have a habit of gratitude. Put that into your life. 10 things that you're grateful for, 5 being present results that you have in your life, and 5 things in the future that you're grateful for now in your present life. And when you do gratitude, really feel your list, really feel that sense of appreciation, and then spend 5 minutes asking for guidance, and just go quiet, a little bit of meditation, ask for guidance, and be open to whatever you get from that. And then in that space of gratitude, send love to 3 people that annoy you. So that's my gratitude habit. That is essential. Then I would say become very clear on who you want to be. So this future self, and put it all in present tense so that you can step into this person and really think about all the areas of your life, your income, your relationships, your belief system, your message, your health, and create a full description in present tense. And then I would recommend you record that, what you write, and you listen to it over and over and over. And as you listen to it, you'll reprogram your mind so that that little voice in the head says, that's not you. That's not true. You're not earning that yet. And as you listen to it over and over and over, you will reprogram your mind. And one day you'll just wake up and you'll be that person with that income. It's pretty fascinating. So that's exactly what I would have you do.
That's amazing. I wish I'd known that when I was 19. I had this this vision board that I put into. It was more like into like a book, and I was away living on the other side of the world by myself in Switzerland. I was a nanny, so I was working for another family, and I was like kind of what my future like husband would look like, and what future like house would look like, and that kind of stuff. Holy crap! I cannot believe it, but like 10 years later, I have a picture of my husband sliding down the water slide on a cruise ship when we were getting married with my 2 nephews that are twins. And I went back and looked at this book not that long like after, and I was like, that looks like my husband. Those look like my twin nephews. Like, holy crap, like craziness. But like that, like it just happened subconsciously. And, but I mean, can you imagine now, like if those kind of things, knowing those kind of things manifest, putting more attention on it, how much more quickly that would have happened, or like all of it would have happened, or, that kind of thing. Like, I think that was really fascinating. It's one thing to create a vision board or have that, but to actually create action around actually making it real.
Yeah. And what you'll notice too, if you're like, if the podcasters do that before they start out and they decide on those things, what they'll notice is they will just start developing the habits of that successful podcaster right from the start. And so then they're not feeling bad or being hard on themselves. So, for you, your vision board may have taken 10 years, but in that 10 years, there's probably a lot of questioning. Like, is this ever happening? Da, 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 right? It removes that. It helps us with our confidence. Yeah. And so you're right. It shortens that period of manifestation, and it makes it a lot more fun when you really understand that you are in charge.
Yeah,
you really are.
Yeah. That's so cool. So I love this gratitude habit that you've given us, which is really amazing. I actually wrote it down as you were talking about it, so I can remember it. Anything else that you would suggest that we add into our lives to just making sure that we're living at our potential?
Yeah. Well,
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is. So if you do the gratitude each day in those 3 steps, and you listen to, we call that your self-image script. You listen to that daily. The next thing I would do is I would write out my goal, and I have my goal on a card, and I carry that around with me in my pocket. I have one in my purse. I have one in the back of my phone. And every time I feel it in my pocket, it triggers me with my goal achieved, so that I can visualize throughout the day, just as I'm like going on my day. Because the reality is, we're going throughout our day, remembering past events. We always think in pictures. So if you can train your mind to constantly think about you with your goal achieved. And then what I would do is read my goal card, my goal statement in present tense to myself in the mirror. That is powerful. And at the end, say your name and that I love you. One of the most powerful things that we can do for ourselves.
Very cool. I love it. Well, thank you, Danielle, for being with us today. It's been such a pleasure having you on. We've learned so many great things. Podcasters, guys out there, are thinking about podcasting, but you haven't made the move yet. Now you have some tools and some ideas of how you can get yourself to that point where you're ready to make a move and you're ready to get started. And Danielle, do you know the name of your podcast yet? What it's going to be called?
Prosperity Practice.
Ooh, I love it. So check out Prosperity Practice. We are going to, I know it's not live yet, but we're going to tag it when it does get live, and does go live, so that make sure that you guys can follow Danielle as well, and make sure that we are listening in, because I know you gave us so many nuggets in this short little period of time. I can't imagine, but we're going to get listening to you on your podcast. So Danielle, where else can we find you, connect with you, work with you, that kind of thing?
Yeah, great. Well, my website's the best place. So danielleamos.co.
Okay, great. That's awesome. And on social media, which is your favorite platform?
Instagram,
Okay.
yeah, same. So it's at _Danielle_Amos, and Amos is Amos.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you, Danielle, for being with us. Can't wait to
Thank
have you
you.
back on again once you're a podcaster. We can do the behind the mic story. That's going to be great too. So
Love
look
it.
forward to that. And until next time, thank you for being who you are. We love and appreciate everything that you shared with us today, and look forward to spending more time with you in the future.
Thanks so much.